Fuder and I, although Leah just reminded me 2 seconds ago that I was the tag-along, and David Fuder was really the important one. So I'm here a little bit under protest now, so if you guys want to get up and leave, I don't mind, I don't care at all.
I think at any point you do have to leave, that's
I was kidding.
Hello.
There he is.
She just told me that I was the tag-along and you were the important one.
We were talking so much
That's
about
right.
you.
That's right.
That's what you just said.
Wait, are you going to introduce?
You have
It's important to realize.
How much power she has.
I've prepared a few remarks.
So this whole process kind of started last year when Leah was in my American Lit class, even though I'm the tag-along. And she wrote a wonderful short story where, were you killed or were you the murderer?
I killed her.
Oh, that's right.
But only because she was going to kill me.
It was self-defense, that's what you said.
And what was my name? Tell them my name. Suzanne Dippenswing?
So Suzanne Dippenswing was a murderer in the second story, and Leah wrote a couple of connected stories that had to do with American Lit, and she had a great time writing them, and we had a good time reading them. And so she came up with the idea of doing an independent study and writing fiction this year, and so we did. And so why don't you carry on from there, because it's a more important one.
So Leah approached me last.
I'm not bitter though, don't worry about it.
It's okay. It's okay. You were never in the plan for this. You just kind of got. Leah approached me last year and wanted to do an independent study, and it was really undefined at the time. It was a little bit, maybe she would sort of do a TA with me with 8th graders, but then whenever I've had someone do that, there always has to be a sort of a component of, well, what do you want to get out of this? What is it? How is it going to work? How are you going to relate this? So we kind of threw back and forth some ideas about, okay, well maybe she could compare and contrast her growth now from the 8th grade till now, and how she's changed and how she's grown, or how things are their similarities. And so then we sort of ended up landing on this idea of she wanted to really explore short story writing. So I think we knew that before the year was out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we came back in the fall and just set up
Oh,
a
no,
plan.
that was all this year.
That was all this year,
We
okay.
had no idea last year.
Oh, I thought we had so many. Okay. All right, so we formulated that. Oh, that's why Mahany came along.
Exactly.
To create clarity.
Yeah.
Definition.
And I think we all know how important clarity is. Anyway, whatever.
So,
I
yeah.
will say that I've seen the two of them sitting together in his
Thank
room
you.
working.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, we set up, I asked Leah to kind of craft a list of things that she wants to work on and she wanted to improve, and so we had kind of a few ideas of where to go. And then we started with something small and easy and sort of tried to build each time, and we would meet Tuesdays during conference time, usually in the round tables, so if any of you saw that, that was also proof that this happens. Yeah, and it was great for me to be able to work with Leah again after teaching her in 8th grade, and I really enjoyed her writing then as an 8th grader, but then to see how she's grown and matured in her depth and in her ideas and in what she can produce. So I enjoyed it a lot. It was always refreshing to be able to read the writing of a senior after spending all my days reading 8th grade writing, which, not to say it's bad, but there is a nice difference. And I think you had a really nice range of writing choices, writing ideas, writing prompts that you went with. And the one thing I want to say to your credit is you were exact in staying on top of things. You were like, I could time my watch to that conference time, pretty much. We weren't always the ones that were right on time and
Speak
prompts.
for yourself.
No.
So I credit you for, in the midst of a senior year, second semester senior, being able to stick with this and be consistent and get as much out of this as you put into it. So it was a lot of fun. That was great.
So can I just add one or two quick things. One is that it's been really interesting to see you develop as a comic writer. And two is that the original thought about this was that Leah was going to write short stories that were somehow connected with each other. And we branched out from there, so the first 2 stories are connected in some way, and then we kind of moved on to something different, but that was the original conception, because she had written 2 stories last year that also had, that featured Suzanne Dippenswing, that also were connected to each other.
So, I'm just gonna start with the first one, and the prompt for this came from a popsicle stick in like a writing kit. And it gave me the first line, which was Michael sat down in the middle of the road and began to cry. And then I think it also had to be less than 600 words. So that was the only criteria I was given.
This was the, right. No. But yeah, it was. It had to be less than 600 words. There had to be a character that told a joke.
Oh, right.
And a
Someone had to
and a
cry.
character had to cry.
I think someone had to laugh, someone had to cry. Or maybe just cry.
Okay.
And then it turned out that the popsicle stick I got had crying in it, so that just worked out. Okay. And it's untitled, as are most of the stories. It's just story number 1. Michael sat down in the middle of the road and began to cry. After a long day, he was wet, tired, and hungry. A large piece of gravel was stuck between his sock and his shoe, and he had a Justin Bieber song playing continuously in his head. He only wanted one thing, and that was to become the first person ever to, "Hey, so I was thinking, we should really get going. I know you're out of sorts about, well, you know, but it's getting late," said Mia. He rubbed away at the tears running down his cheeks and stood up to face her. "I know." It was all he could do not to start crying again. "How about I take the horse and you ride back on the unicycle," she said. "All right." He walked over to the unicycle and set it upright. As Mia mounted the horse, Michael reluctantly began to pedal. They made their way back into town just as the sun disappeared behind the trees. "I think you need to give up," Mia said. "You've been so focused on being the first person to—" "Don't even bother. I swore to myself that I would do it, and I will." "You can't change my mind," Michael said. "Fine, just go home then." Michael took the horse's reins and got back on his unicycle. Just as he was about to ride away, Mia said, "Wait, I have a joke to tell you." Oh, and someone didn't tell a joke. That's awesome. He turned around and tapped his foot impatiently. "Knock, knock. Who's there?" "Boo. Boo-hoo." "Why are you crying?" Mia snickered as she walked down the street towards her house. It was just like Mia to kick him when he was already down. She didn't understand the sacrifices he had made. It was no easy task to train a horse to ride a unicycle. And her jokes, she constantly had to make a serious situation humorous. Well, Michael wasn't feeling very humorous at the moment and did not appreciate her efforts. Later that night, Michael was still struggling with the horse and the unicycle in the backyard. Maverick, his horse, was not cooperating. He would not stay still enough for Michael to adjust the unicycle. That is when Mia stopped by. "Hi, Michael," she said. "Hi. You can always stay if you help me," he said. "Fine. I'm sorry about earlier. You were right. At this point, you can't give up. You've come too far." Mia walked over to the horse and tried to stabilize it as Michael replaced the unicycle underneath its flank. That was a lot to Mia. They continued to wrestle with the horse and the unicycle. He was having particular trouble keeping Maverick interested in the unicycle. Ever since Michael drew out Maverick's forelock, the brow band was not fitting correctly. Maverick could be very temperamental. Michael said, "I just don't understand why this isn't working. When I dream tonight, there are never any hiccups." It could be the horse. He seemed a little off balance lately. Secretly, Mia knew that it would never work. She just didn't have the heart to tell Michael. He was so determined. It seemed cruel to crush his dreams. Though he was 16, oftentimes he needed to be treated as if he were 9 years old. Anyway, why would Mia give up a chance to be with Michael? If she had one goal in life, it was to make him fall in love with her. So, while Michael continued to putter with his horse and his unicycle, Mia just smiled and thought about what other jokes she could tell him.
Yay!
That was how we started. The second one is kind of related, but it's also longer, so I don't know if I will get to the part where they connect, except that it is with the same woman. I don't know if the assignment was for this.
The assignment was, I think, to take one of the
Yeah.
characters and write a story with the connecting character, but not necessarily the main character.
Right.
And the unicycle.
Okay. Yeah, I can go first.
You say you won't get to it? Does that mean you're not going to read us the whole story?
I don't think we have time.
Probably all right with that one.
Yeah, read the whole story.
Really?
Yeah, we're probably all right, because it's not so long.
Okay. I will do
And then
this.
we'll read parts together.
Story number 2. It was quiet in the shop without Carlos' constant chatter. I was actually getting some work done. The last time I did inventory was when there was snow on the ground. Now it was July, and unusual for there to be so few customers. He was the first person to walk into the shop all day. His brown hair